Let's assume that computers do gain consciousness and become a sort of life form that can reproduce and write its own software. Would that convince you that computers can form naturally simply because they can reproduce and write their own software? I think you'll quickly realize that if a computer could do these things, this would be evidence of an amazing engineering feat. I say the same thing about living things. It's only logical. Please show me where I'm wrong in my thinking.
Your analogy fails on multiple levels, Matt, including logically. Just because theoretical man-made self-replicating computers were initially consciously designed says nothing about whether cells were. It's still an argument from ignorance. It also fails in the case of your computers because we would have evidence that they were designed by a consciousness because we would know who the original designers were. In the case of cells, we have no such evidence and therefore no a priori reason to make the assertion. If for some reason we'd lost this knowledge, the only thing we'd be justified in saying about the origin of computers pending the discovery of pertinent evidence would be we don't know. Anything else would be pure speculation. In fact, your analogy not only fails but also serves you extremely poorly because it highlights exactly how intellectually weak your position is. Let me explain. Let's say one day that all life on this fictional Earth goes extinct and all that's left are the computers. 2 spaceships arrive. One full of creationist aliens and one full of empirical rationalists. By your own logic, the creationists should immediately come to the conclusion that these computers were created by their divine being since something must have designed their complexity. The rationalists, on the other hand, might initially reserve judgment. Instead of taking the easy way out by explaining everything with their God and then smugly congratulating themselves for their deductive skills, they might begin studying the computers instead. Upon further investigation, they might realize that many of the computer components could be constructed using known physical processes. They may even be able to duplicate some of these processes themselves, perhaps even start building their own simpler versions. Any of this sounding familiar, Matt? In this scenario, and with our a posteriori knowledge, we see that the rationalists have a chance of discovering that these computers have a natural explanation, while the creationists, satisfied with putting it all down to the supernatural and settling for spending the rest of their time basking in their certain truth and indulging in their mutual mental masturbation, explain everything by being 100% wrong. So how do you know that this isn't exactly what you and your fellow creationists are doing right now, Matt? I mean, really know. If you looked at it honestly for just a moment, if you opened up yourself to the possibility that you might be wrong, you might just be able to look at the evidence with an open mind and realize that you don't have a leg to stand on. So for the last time, Matt, the science that you're actively denying like a child who doesn't want to give up their favorite toy does not and cannot deny the existence of gods. It just places limits on the claims humans can make about how they created the universe and life on Earth. The world is full of theists in general and Christians specifically who found a way to integrate their God into reality, so it is possible, and some of them are even subscribed to me and support my goals here on YouTube. And if you can't do that, Matt, if you can't pull your mind out of the dark ages, if you can't reconcile your beliefs with reality, if you continue denying the undeniable with no regard to the evidence, then you're doomed to remain a laughingstock to everyone other than the rapidly shrinking group of anachronistic misfits that think the same way you do, until one day you'll find yourself all alone.